Of course, contact pages and contact forms are a necessary part of any website, especially if you're an online coach, consultant, or run a service-based business. But they always tend to look so dull and boring. So that's why in this video, I am going to walk you through how to build 3 different contact page examples that are both gorgeous and conversion focused. And I'm going to show you how to do it with Thrive Architect and the updated contact form element inside of it. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Matt from Thrive Themes, and one thing the internet does not do very well is contact pages. And if you think about the contact pages you've seen online, they're usually just blank pages with a basic contact form embedded on them. Well, we can do better than that, and in this video I want to show you how to do that with Thrive Architect and the Thrive Visual Editor. So we're going to take a look at a few examples, the first of which comes from Sleeknote. And if you look at their contact page, they have a really nice hero area section that explains what the page is about and what the visitor can find there. A really nice looking contact form followed by a contact information section. And then on the right side here, we see a bunch of useful links along with some social proof elements. And then a final bottom section call to action where they showcase some of their free offers. Now, if you want to build something similar, let's head on over to the Thrive Visual Editor and I'll show you how to get this done quick. So the first step is to create a new contact page in your WordPress dashboard and then click the Launch Thrive Architect button. As the page loads, you'll get the option to select what kind of page you want to set up. Let's go ahead and select the blank page with header and footer. And our very first step will be to create that hero area. And if you have Thrive Theme Builder installed and activated on your WordPress site, then you'll have access to some of these page block templates. So one is the hero area templates, and we'll go ahead and select this first one because it looks very similar to the Sleeknote example. And then we just need to customize the text and the image, and that will be done very quickly. Now that our hero area is customized, we can move on to building the actual contact form section. We'll do that by adding a background section to the page. And I'll just make a few modifications, making the width of the screen 1000. And then from there, I'll drop a columns element inside the background section and make it a 1/2, 1/2, 2 columns option. And now we can drop the contact form element into the left column. And as you'll see, the contact form element as well as the lead generation element are actually the same design tool in Thrive Architect now. And when you drag it on the page, a template library will appear where you'll have some contact form templates as well as some opt-in form templates to choose from. But because this is a contact form page, let's select one of the contact form templates. And what you'll see is that if Thrive Theme Builder is active, the contact form and lead generation forms are smart color enabled, so they will take on your brand color like you see here with the button. If we take another look at the Sleeknote contact form example, we see that they have a first name, last name, email, required message area, and an additional details area. To build the same thing on our contact form in Thrive Architect, first we'll add a new text field. And let's make everything required and show the label. And this is going to become our last name field, as well as another text area field for that additional details. And let's go ahead and make that one optional. Let's take that first text field that we added and put it underneath the default name field. And at this point, we can enter the form elements and start customizing how the form looks. So we want to show the labels and make it a required field. We can change the name to first name. And also I'd like to change the letter spacing from 7 pixels to 2 pixels. And you can see that each of these elements are grouped. So when you apply some styling to one of the grouped elements, they'll all apply that styling automatically. Then in the next one, we can make it last name. And in the Sleek Note example, those two name fields were next to each other. So we can just drag and drop them to be next to each other, and that column automatically forms. We move on to the email. Let's show the label as well, and emails are always required fields by default. And the first text field will show the label. We will change the message to be ask your question here, so it's more specific. And in this sort of generic optional message field, we could say anything else you want to add. Okay, and let's go ahead and change all of the placeholder text next. So instead of name, we could say John, and in the last name field, put Doe. Email's fine how it is. Here, this placeholder text is fine, or you could decide to change it to maybe type your question here. And then in the last placeholder area, we can change that to type your message here, something like that. Okay, let's do a few more things like styling the font type here to say 12, and believe this font color will be something like hashtag 6Bs. Okay, and if you want, you can even give each of the text areas a minimum character and maximum character required in the response. So something like 10 characters minimum and 1,000 characters maximum, and both of these updated together. Finally, I'll just center this button and our contact form is designed. Now we need to add connections to the contact form so that the information we collect gets sent to us properly. So one of the connections you can add is this email option, and what this allows you to do is program or compose emails, the first of which will be the one that gets sent to you. So anytime somebody submits a form, you can program an email to say whatever you want it to say, so you know it's a contact form submission, and then make sure it includes this all form fields shortcode so that the data collected will also be included in that email. Optionally, you can program a confirmation email to be sent to the user as well, so they'll be notified that their submission has gone through. Another very cool feature of the contact form is that you can add your email marketing tool to the connection so that when somebody submits a form, they get added to your mailing list too. And you do that simply by going to the Add Connection button again, adding your email marketing tool and applying it, and then they will get added to the email list of your choosing. Make sure you are complying with any local, national, or global policy regulations when you use this feature though. Moving on, you can see that the Sleek Note example has a contact information area. So to replicate this in Thrive Architect, let's use the styled list element, and we'll drag and drop that underneath the contact form. And I'm just going to scroll up and clone this text element and drag and drop it between the two. Style it, change the text. I'll change the padding, the margins and the padding of the styled list element so it's a little bit tighter. And then you can see that the icons for this are grouped. So let's ungroup them all so that we can give them different icons for each line item. Let's add the location icon. Change the size of it. We can add the phone icon. And finally, let's add an email icon for our particular contact info icons. Now, because the Thrive Themes dashboard has this feature called Smart Site Global Fields, what you can do is program all of your company info, and then instead of manually typing it in each item, you can drop the dynamic global field text on the item so that it populates automatically. And this is very cool because anywhere on your site where these dynamic text fields are populated, if you need to change them for any reason, you can just change them once here and they will automatically update across your site. The best way to do this is just delete that default text and then click on this dynamic text icon, select global fields, and then I'll select address for the location. I'll select phone number for the phone, obviously. And I'll select email address for the email. Moving right along, let's create this useful links section. So we have, say, an H2 heading and then some paragraph text, and then I'll show you how to make each of these links that have this animation associated with it. So I'll just get started by cloning some text elements and dropping them in the right column, and then just modify the inline text. And then the way I like to do the next section, you can either use buttons or you can do something a little fancier with content boxes. So I'll drop a content box underneath the text, and then we'll add some additional text elements into it, say an H3 heading, as well as some normal paragraph text. And then I'm going to drop an icon in there as well. And that icon is going to be to the right of the paragraph text, and it will automatically make a column. And then I want to find the chevron icon, the right facing chevron icon, and I'll just change the size of it down to 30. And then let me just adjust some of the line spacing and margins and paddings for each of these elements so they're in quite tight. Okay. We'll change the inline text. And I'm just going to slide this column all the way over to the right. Now, when I select the content box, I also want to modify the margins and paddings here. And then go down to the borders tab, and on that bottom border, I'm just going to add a little 1 pixel line to make it look like the contact page that SleekNote has. Now what we can do is, if we highlight the content box, I'm going to go from the normal state to the hover state, and I'm going to apply an animation. So if I click on this animation option, and I'll select the forward animation, and you can see that when it activates, it slides to the right. So that's pretty similar to what the SleekNote contact page has. We'll go back to the normal state, and the last thing I need to do is just add the link. So whatever your link is, you can type or paste that here, apply, and now you have a well-designed, useful link. If we have other additional useful links, we'll just clone them, as many as we need, and that section's done. Just go in, change the links for each one, change the inline text, and it's ready to go. To finish off this section, you see this trusted by area. So these are all the big name companies that are using the SleekNote product. You can do something similar on your contact page by adding the same company logos of your customers, or maybe even a testimonial or two to show some social proof. So to get this done quickly, we're just going to clone this styled text element, place it beneath the content box, and then we can change the type to say trusted by. And then we'll go ahead and add another column element, and we'll select the 3/3 column, and from there we can just insert images of the company logos we want to add. That's looking pretty good. Just a few more design tweaks that we can do. If we come into this left column, we can add a shadow, a drop shadow, to give it that look like the Sleek Note example has. Let's also apply some padding to it. And then if we highlight the actual columns element, let's just increase the gutter width a little bit. It's looking really good. One last thing we can do is vertically center the items, and let's say center the text on this one. Very awesome. So let's move on to making the bottom section. And the easiest way to do this in Thrive Architect is to add a new content block. And we'll filter for content blocks, call to action category, and let's select this one. And if we just come into the block main options area and untoggle this inherit width from the landing page option and change some of the default padding, very quickly we can have that bottom section ready to go. Just need to change the text and button element again, and your desktop version of the page is finished. The very last thing we need to do is make some tweaks to tablet and mobile to make sure it is optimized for smaller screen sizes. To do that, let's just add some margin to our columns element here. And instead of wrapping the logo or the columns here, the company logos, let's unclick that. That looks a bit better. And let's check on mobile. Everything looks really nice. Maybe we just want a little space between the text here. And with these content boxes, let's also make sure that the columns don't wrap. And like that, our new conversion-focused contact page is ready to go. Now let's take a look at our second example. Say you're an online coach who wants a more streamlined contact page, really focused on helping potential clients book that initial contact call with you. You can build a page very easily that looks like this using a page block template with Thrive Architect. Now this is an actual online coach who used a Thrive Architect page block template to build their contact form. And you can see it uses a contact form template that not only has input fields, but a radio button as well. Let's see how to build that really quickly for yourself in Thrive Architect now. So to get started with this contact form design, let's add a block, and we're going to select actually for our contact forms. And these contact form templates are only available if you have Thrive Theme Builder installed and activated. We'll select this one. And as you can see, it's smart color enabled, so it picks up on Thrive Theme Builder's brand colors, and then we can just go about modifying the text as we need. Now, in this example, let's go ahead and add an image to match the online coach example we were looking at. Just to help personalize it a bit, maybe we can change the size of it a little and make sure it's centered. You can even add some border or some corners to it to round it. And here in the contact info section, you can see that the dynamic text is already applied in these elements. So you can change this as you need. And if you want, it's using the blue secondary color for this, but you can change it to the orange if you want to as well. And if you don't like the way this looks, you can actually go back and use that styled list element strategy that I showed you in the previous example if you want it to look different. And when it comes to customizing the contact form, you can change the default one that's part of this template, or you can delete it and add one of the new templates with the new contact form. Because we were talking about radio button options for this particular example, we can just select the radio button template, and you can go about and modify, add new fields and new text areas here. and edit the form much like we showed you in the previous example. But what I want to show you here is that when it comes to the radio buttons, it's very easy to add or delete radio button options. And then you can come in here and change the number of columns easily, and then change the actual inline text of each button. And you use radio buttons when you want to offer multiple options, but force the submitter to select only one. Now, if you want to offer multiple options and give the option to select as many as the user would like, you just need to change the radio buttons field from radio to checkboxes. And as simple as that, you have checkbox options you can modify for this purpose as well. So now I will just fast forward through some of these quick modifications so you can watch how I do it and see the final form result. So just like that, you can have a conversion-focused online coaching intake form set up on your site really quick using a page block template in Thrive Architect. The third and final contact page example I want to show you how to build is this one from Zendesk. And the feature that I'm interested in showing you is that when you click their contact sales page, a contact form in a Lightbox appears, and you can actually build this very simply using Thrive Architect as well. So to get started, let's just add a quick hero area template to the page. How about this one here? And as you can see, it is smart color enabled. And what we'll do is create a Thrive Architect Lightbox that then you can connect to this button. To build the Lightbox, you can either use the Thrive Lightbox feature within Thrive Architect. It's here in your left-hand sidebar of the WordPress dashboard, or if you have the Thrive Leads plugin, you can come down and create a Thrive box. And the benefit here is that you're going to have several conversion-focused Lightbox templates to modify to make this a bit easier. But if you don't have the Thrive Leads plugin, you can still use Thrive Architect, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So just click on this Thrive Lightbox tab in the left sidebar, and click on the Add New button. And we'll just call this the Sales Contact Form. And we'll launch it in Thrive Architect. Now, what you get with this Thrive Lightbox feature is you don't get any templates, but you get the basic visual builder. And from here, you can just drop in some text that you can apply a heading. And then once you have that top section built, we'll just drop a contact form element inside of it. And you can select any of the contact form templates you choose. Go ahead and modify them how you want, how you saw in the previous two examples. Save your work. Go back into the Lightbox dashboard area and make sure you save the draft and publish it so that in the Thrive Visual Builder actually sees it as an option to select that I'll show you next. From there, go back into the contact page you were building and make sure it's saved. And then go ahead and refresh the page. And now highlight the call to action button, scroll down to the animation and action tab, click on the pop-ups option and make sure it's set to click trigger. From there, select the Open Thrive Lightbox radio button and search for that sales contact form Lightbox you created. Apply the change, save the work, press preview. And now when we click the button, our contact form Lightbox opens. Obviously, I didn't spend the time to edit this here, but in the previous examples, you saw how you can update that Lightbox contact form to look exactly how you want it. So that's a quick look at 3 conversion-focused contact page examples that you can build right now with Thrive Architect. And if you have Thrive Theme Builder installed, you'll get the added benefit of those gorgeous theme block templates to help you as well. Now, as always, if you have any questions about what you've seen in this video and how to build a conversion-focused contact page, leave those questions in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.